What's up? How is everybody doing today, huh? Welcome to another Coffee with Michael. It's the best thing coming out of the internet this week. Am I right, folks? It's maybe the best Coffee with Michael of this year. Could be. Think about this. After a little 2-week hiatus, and holy crap, did this little hiatus have some consequences. I didn't do Coffee with Michael for 2 weeks. I didn't do the toast for 2 weeks. We skip it for just 2 weeks, and the whole world's falling apart. Suddenly we're being invaded by UFOs. Can you believe this? All in the last 2 weeks. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm telling you, the toast is holding this whole thing together. You know it. I know it. It's our little tribe the entire universe depends on. You're part of something special if you're here right now, folks. But today, we get to end the UFO invasion, the alien invasion. We have an opportunity here to come together, to take part of the toast, the black bean wine here, and change things for the better. You know what I'm talking about. Let's get some things settled back down. Let's calm Zuckerberg down. I'm sure he's been in a horrible mood the last 2 weeks. Let's get those CPMs back down, get those conversion rates back up. Let's lift the global GDP here and get people back in the buying mood. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. RIP Ohio. See what I'm talking about? UFOs invading, train cars full of nasty chemicals crashing, the government doing weird conspiratorial cover-up things. It's crazy. It's crazy. But today we are going to make all things right with the world again. And you're going to be part of that. So you should feel proud. All right, now I've got my shenanigans out of the way. By the way, the last 2 weeks, I haven't been doing the toast. I've been keeping my eye out for stuff I could mention. Stuff I could mention here when I got back. And the UFO thing just took the cake. So anyways, today, we're going to be talking to Gina Menduni-Sherling, about how to optimize your Etsy listings. Etsy is super popular around here. It's kind of a topical favorite among our shiny peeps here. So you're going to love this one. Gina has got a ton of experience here with Etsy. We were talking about some numbers before the call here. Gina did $75,000 on Etsy last year alone, which is pretty incredible. She's got all kinds of best practices, tips, and tricks she wants to share with you. She's also got some education that she's put out that we're going to talk about at the end that I think you're going to be really interested in. So I'm really excited for today's call. Do me a favor, if you like what we bring you each and every week here at ShineOn, like this post, drop some love in the comments, which you're typically fantastic at. Let me go to the comments here real quick. Welcome. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Gail, yep, they're them little green men trying to invade because we stopped doing the toast for 2 weeks. It's unreal. I look rested. Well, that's good. Thank you for that. What's up, Arati from India? How is it going? Where are you guys from today? I don't ask this question very much. Where are you guys from today? Let me know in the comments. Let's see how many continents we can cover today with the toast. It's like a protective force field that goes up around the world. By the way, did you also see that like a chunk of the sun broke off? That happened too in the last 2 weeks. It's insane. It's insane, people. All right. Need new line of balloon jewelry. I like it. I like where you're going. Those UFOs are my fellows from AQ. That's supposed to be a flag. That little AQ thing, the emoji just doesn't come through. Where are you talking about? Are you talking about Mexico? All right, the Eagles won. Now that is a lie. I am from Kansas City, and I can tell you that based on the fireworks and gunshots that go off regularly around here every time Chiefs win a football game, that is a lie. All right. Swamp Gas, Chiefs won. That is right. What's up? Ohio, Indiana. Dig it. Germany, what's up? Georgia, how's it going? Maryland, what's going on? Toronto, Canada, America's hat. Welcome. New York, Texas, Kentucky. Way to be. Nevada, Florida. Way to go. Bet you we got a lot of folks from Florida here. Seems like people in Florida are just unusually interested in e-com. I don't know what it is. You guys should look up St. Pete, Florida. It's like every e-commerce entrepreneur of influence is in St. Pete, Florida. It's so weird. It's so weird. If a hurricane came and like wiped St. Pete off the map, e-com would be dead for like 2 years. There'd be like no forward movement in education or anything. All right, solar flares. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Panama City, Antarctica. Yeah, right. But Mauricio is a volunteer for this. If we can maybe I'll start a GoFundMe. If we can get enough money together, we can send Mauricio to Antarctica for the Digital Marketers Toast 1 week. What do you guys say to that? Mauricio would be more than up for a little trip. Slovenia, what is up? Orlando. All right. Singapore, I like it. Calgary. Where else? Kansas City, Missouri. You and I are neighbors. I am also in Kansas City. Don't you put that hurricane juju on us. Well, somehow Tampa seems to be protected because all the hurricanes tend to veer north or south of Tampa. So I'm not knocking on wood. I'm not knocking on wood after that. You can do that. I don't know if it'll count, though. You may just need to start boarding up your windows now. Okay, let's get to it. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Appreciate it. Welcome to another Coffee with Michael. If this is your first time here, I'm so happy to have you. This is free education that we give out literally every single week. I come on here, I interview awesome guests. We bring tons of cool training and education and what's kind of the latest and greatest in the e-commerce space. If you're looking to make this a side income, if you're looking to get your first sale, if you're looking to maybe quit your job and make this full time, this is a great place to start. Every week, we come together as a community. We do some training, some education. We have some fun together. We do a digital marketers toast. It's really amazing. It's unique in the print on demand space. I don't know anybody else that's doing anything quite like this. And it's just fun. It's good fun. So you're in the right place if you're ready to learn and get your game on here. Let's talk about some swag winners. So last week, Karen Thompson. I've had my Etsy shop open for just over a month and starting to get some traction. When I saw my sale on Saturday, I literally did a happy dance. My friend next to me was a little concerned. Here's the many more. I did the 14-day challenge. It was well worth it. I'm still working on getting my first sale via my website, but that'll come too. 3 orders, $196 in revenue. Congratulations. That's amazing, Karen. Thank you for sharing your story. You've got some swag coming your way. Then we've got Henderson, finally 80 sales completed. Thank you, ShineOn, and special thanks to my best designer, Zamil, for his good support and good designs. May God bless you all with lots of sales. 80 sales. That's amazing. Henderson is going somewhere here. Is it Henderson or Elizabeth? I bet it's Elizabeth. Elizabeth is going somewhere here. We got Mother's Day right around the corner. Now is a fantastic time to be getting your feet wet with your first sales because you can scale big time on Mother's Day. The Mother's Day is it's like Christmas in May. That's kind of how I like to look at it. It's like Christmas in spring. You get a second bite of the apple during Mother's Day. Pretty amazing. All right, then Gabriel, new store I built for my daughter on day 4 of the challenge, landed our first sale already, $80. Way to go. That's some AOV right there too. Congratulations, Gabriel. Thank you all for sharing your stories. You've all got some swag coming your way. I want to see some pictures of your swag, by the way. We give swag out every single week. I am not seeing enough pictures. I want to see pictures of you with your mugs, your t-shirts, your hats, your hoodies, your backpacks, your mouse pads, whatever it is you pick out. I want to start seeing some pictures here in the Facebook group. Share the love, people. Anyway, thank you, Gabriel. If you want to get some free swag too, we do it every single week. We grab 2 to 5 posts randomly from the group. We're looking for testimonials with screenshots, new milestones being hit, tips, tricks, all that kind of stuff. Value posts are fun. Drop that in the group and you will probably get picked, featured here, and you'll get some cool swag. Okay, latest news. Some new product launches. We've got these engraved dog tags and hearts coming soon. Now, I've got to tell you, I was in Florida last week looking at these. These look really freaking good. They look better than the picture. It's a little difficult to describe the quality of the engraving on these. All I can tell you is it makes the piece look really valuable. The metal itself is like shiny, especially when it's like all polished up and there are no fingerprints on it. It's really shiny. It glints off the light, and the way the engraving kind of lays on there, it just looks super high quality. And it doesn't, unfortunately, it just does not quite come through in the pictures. Now, I worked with our creative team in photography to try to get the engraving quality to come through, and it was just kind of challenging. But I'd highly recommend order some samples of these for yourselves. They're really freaking cool. So anyways, these are launching today. So after Coffee with Michael, you should see these in your catalog, and you'll be able to launch some of your own designs here. And these can sell really, really, really freaking well. So pretty cool here. All right, we've got a new live preview feature for the name tags. So I can tell you what I'm about to show you is bad ace, people. It is awesome. Look, before we built this, we scoured the internet for live preview features for name necklaces. And I can tell you that we did not find one that we were satisfied with. And what the engineering and graphic team came up with is unfreaking believable right here. What I'm about to show you, nobody else on the internet has, and it's bad ace, people. I'm telling you, it's probably the best one out there on the internet. All right, are you guys ready? Did I sufficiently hype that up? All right, let's go. So I'm going to hit play here. Hopefully this is big enough on your screens. I wonder if I can make it bigger. It's a little risky to do that because it'll probably stop sharing. Okay, I'm going to play. Here we go. Look at this. It's actually showing you the name as you type it in inside of the message card. And this is the kicker. Look at this Lux box. You can actually see the name inside of the Lux box as you type it. It recenters it based on the length of the name. It auto renders the whole thing. So like, it's not like you type the name and then you got to click a little like get your preview button or anything like that. It does all of this on the fly. What you're looking at is a live demo. Isn't that insane? It is so freaking cool. This is going to help conversion rates on the name necklaces like you wouldn't believe. Super excited about this. Super freaking excited about this. And by the way, it took like 3 weeks to totally figure this out. Specifically, getting the name to render inside of the box and like showing the box at the same time. It took like weeks to figure that out. Super freaking cool. So they're pushing this update right now. I am told that the update's going to take probably 6 or 7 hours actually to push to everybody's stores. So you probably certainly see this like later this evening. We're also going to make another post in the Facebook group on Monday with the new render. Now, there's one catch, and that is you have to be using our theme if you want to take advantage of the rendering. You have to use our theme, okay? So make sure you have our theme turned on specifically for this product. Anyway, pretty amazing. I was super excited about that. Really, hats off to the dev team. You guys should give them a round of applause in the chat or in the Facebook group. They worked really hard on this, and it came out amazing. Okay, next, I want to talk a little bit about ShineOn Pro, $47 a month. This is an unbeatable package, in my opinion. You get everything that we already give to everybody for free in ShineOn, but you also get some exclusive training, which is like 4 or 5 different courses. We were charging, it was like $500 a month for you. You get it for $47 a month. Unbelievable. You get access to Amazon FBA. So if you want to sell in bulk on Amazon, taking advantage of Amazon Prime, which is 2-day shipping, you can do that right now through ShineOn. We will literally take your bulk order. We'll package it all up so that it's will be accepted by Amazon, and we'll ship it out for you. You used to have to use a prepper service for this, meaning you'd have to like place your bulk order. We'd have to send it to an Amazon prepper. They'd have to get everything ready, and then they'd have to send it on to an Amazon warehouse. No more. We'll do that for you. It's inside of ShineOn Pro. Also, we have cash on delivery. Look, if you are scaling a product, you need to be scaling a product. You need to have a little bit of chops behind you to do this. But if you have a product, your product is scaling, and you've got some savvy with like Shopify and things like that, you can sell on cash on delivery. Now, let me tell you why you want to do this. In cash on delivery, the CPAs, the cost per acquisition, are the lowest I've ever seen. In Q4 last year, for cash on delivery orders, the CPAs were like $4 or $5 an order. $4 or $5 an order, which is unreal. Your margins are massive with cash on delivery. It is here, but it is not for everybody. It's not for new people for sure. Like you need to kind of have some chops with Shopify. You need to be actively scaling something to be in the cash on delivery program. It's the only way it's going to make sense for you because you have to kind of open a new store. You may have to do it and translate it into a new language and some things like that. So there's some technical stuff to set up, but if you get it set up, you can make an absolute killing. Our number 2 seller all of last year was somebody that was selling almost exclusively with cash on delivery. I'm telling you, it's a blue ocean out there. So this is a super cool feature. It's also part of ShineOn Pro. Next, we have post-purchase. We built our own post-purchase app, so now you don't have to pay Zipify, One-Click Upsell, or any of these other apps, $99 a month or whatever they are. It's all included right inside of ShineOn Pro. We have our own post-purchase upsell, and it's also super easy to just add ShineOn products right into your post-purchase now. So you can actually lead with a message card, and then in your post-purchase, sell more message cards. And that's how we kind of recommend you set it up, because you can really boost those AOVs that way. All right, we got weekly office hours too. So far, it's been Jim mostly leading these up. This is not coaching. I want to be super clear. It's an office hours. It's you'll have access to somebody from ShineOn. You can ask questions about whatever. Company strategy, products, features. You might be able to get a little ad help. Just know it's not coaching. But that's also part of Pro. You got VIP support. If you're a Pro member, all your requests go to the top of the line, which is pretty amazing. And then you also have access to our UGC store. So we worked on this whole like green screen technology, and we made a bunch of green screen videos. We went to parks, to beaches, everything you can imagine. And if you are actively scaling, or you want to test multiple creatives, you can go right into the store and you can purchase creatives. We will actually take your message card, render it on the videos that you choose, and we'll send it back to you so you can use it in your ads. Pretty freaking amazing. All right, I see a ton of activity in the comments. I'm just going to kind of peruse these real quick, make sure I'm not missing anything important. Let's see. Questions about the theme. Yeah, it's ShineOn Fast. It should work on ShineOn Fast and the regular theme, I believe. Okay, everything's good. Looks like people are just really excited about that live preview feature, which is pretty amazing. Okay, let's keep going. I want to get Gina up here. All right, ShineOn challenge. This is $47 a month. If you've never made a sale before, the challenge is designed to take you from 0 to 1. That's the entire purpose of the challenge. Many people have gone through the challenge and had success with it. So I can tell you this based on our numbers right now. If you take the challenge and you complete it, you've got like an 88-90% chance of getting your first sale. You have to put it into action, obviously. But if you take the challenge, you complete it, you take action, 88, I think is the most recent number I've seen is like 88% of the people that do that make their first sale. So if you're brand new, this is for you. It tells you how to register your LLC, pick your like your brand name, colors, set up a store, on and on and on. It's an amazing deal, people. So go check it out. ShineOnChallenge.com. Okay. Trying to make this quick. We need your help in the App Store. We need your help on two fronts here. First of all, we got displaced in the search engine results. We're no longer number 3. We're number 4. We're number 4 because these people over here at Jubilee is the name of the app that displaced us. These guys are violating Shopify's terms of service, and they're baiting for reviews, okay? Now, I need your help to tell Shopify this, because this will not stand, man. This will not stand. So please jump over there to the App Store, search for Print on Demand. You'll see Jubilee there in number 3. Report the hell out of these people to Shopify so that they get removed and we get our rightful place back is number 3 in the App Store. Another thing that would really help is if you could leave us some reviews. We'd really appreciate that. I'm asking for an honest review, not a 5-star review or anything like that. I just want an honest review. Please go to the Shopify App Store and write, whatever you think about ShineOn. Let other merchants know what you think. That will also help us take back our place as number 3, which is our place. We earned it. We earned it. We weren't a bunch of cheaters like Jubilee. We earned it through blood, sweat, and tears, okay? We're working like dogs over here for you people. So I'd appreciate some love if you could help us out. Okay. To do that very quickly, jump over to the App Store, type ShineOn up top or Print on Demand. Then you click our little app. It's got the big S in it. You should be able to recognize it. Yeah, Adam, that was a reference to Big Lebowski. You got me. Okay. Leave me a review. So get over here to the app page, scroll down to the bottom, click this white, transparent, very hard to see, write a review button. Click that, and then just give us some honest feedback. Okay. We read every single one of these. Your feedback means the absolute world to us. It'll help us get our number 3 spot back from the cheaters over there at Jubilee. We would appreciate it. Look, it's really a fight against good versus evil. What side do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the good side? You want to be on the evil side? I mean, think about this. Inaction also is an action. Are you going to let evil just prevail? What's that quote about? Like, all it takes for you to prevail is for good people to do nothing, right? Hey, are you a good person here? I'm just, I'm not trying to make you feel guilty or anything. I'm just asking the question. Are you a good person? Because these cheaters over here are robbing us of our livelihood. Okay. I need some help. I need some love. Do me a solid, jump over there and leave us some reviews, and then report those people at Jubilee. Okay. All right. Appreciate the love, people. Okay. Every single week, we're bringing new features, new products, new updates, Coffee with Michaels, free education. You wouldn't believe all the amazing content we bring you every week. If you ever miss it, let's say you're on vacation, which you shouldn't be during peak selling season, but whatever. If you're on vacation, you get sick, you go on a business trip, whatever it could be. If you miss any of our updates, you can easily get caught back up. Just go into the group. Up at the very top, you got a little featured button. Click that. You'll see anything that we think is important enough to be marked as an announcement or pinned to the top or whatever. It's like a news feed for all the amazing stuff we're doing every single week. And you can get caught up super quick. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Okay. Are you guys ready to rock and roll? You ready for me to bring Gina out? Just reading the comments here. You guys ready for Gina? You ready to learn how to optimize your Etsy listings? Are you ready to partake of the Digital Marketer's Toast? And you have been very, very patient. Gina, give me a thumbs up if you're ready for me to bring you on screen. Okay, excellent. Let me get you out here. Gina, how goes it?
Hi, how's it going, guys?
Welcome. Thank you for being patient.
Oh, of course. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have you. Etsy is kind of a crowd favorite around here, so people are going to be taking notes, I am sure. It's going to be fun. Okay. Yeah, everybody's ready for you to get here. Are you ready for the Digital Marketer's Toast, Gina?
I'm so ready. I have my
What are you drinking today?
It's a cherry limeade bubbly.
Okay, that counts. Nobody ever just drinks coffee with me. I don't know if it's too late in the morning or what, but I'm like a coffee all day kind of person. So
I don't even drink coffee. I'm not a coffee person.
Well, there's caffeine in that, isn't there?
There's not, but I've already had some tea, so I'm revved up.
Okay. All right. Well, whatever. That's acceptable. Raise up your glasses, mugs, bottles, and flasks. Join me now for the Digital Marketer's Toast. Here's to more conversions, more cash, cheap CPMs, and lower CACs, higher CTRs, much higher CVRs to enable ad accounts and big bank accounts, upsells, downsells, and cross-sells, to winning products and repeat sales, and to the thing that everybody knows, the riches are in the niches, but also your email flows. Are you ready? Drink, everybody. There we go. There we go. The dopamine hit that rings around the world.
Yes.
It unites us all. Suddenly that Earth's magnetic field is reinvigorated and those UFOs are bouncing off the outer atmosphere.
Nature is healing. I can feel it.
Yeah, that's right. The air is cleansing right now. All those chemicals that went up, they're reaching their half-life. They're dissipating out of the air. All right, let's do it. Gina, Etsy. So you told me before the call you did $75,000 in revenue last year on Etsy alone. I know you've got some other stuff going on with Amazon and things like that. That's pretty freaking amazing. Can you kind of, before we just jump right into all your content, can you tell us a little bit about who you are, your track record with e-commerce, kind of how you got into all this? Another thing that's really unique with Gina that many of you don't know is Gina is kind of a digital nomad. She's living out of a travel trailer with her husband. They have for 3 years. It's pretty unique. It's an amazing lifestyle that many people, I'm sure, would love to partake in. Can you tell us just a little bit about who you are, your lifestyle, how you got into e-commerce, all that kind of stuff?
Absolutely. So yeah, we are digital nomads. My husband and I, we've been living on the road for a couple of years, which we absolutely love. So my background with e-com, I mean, most of you guys know my brother, Mario. So I've been working with my brother for probably like 4 or 5 years now in some capacity. My first intro into e-com, I had a primarily apparel, like t-shirt pod store many moons ago, and did pretty good run on Facebook with it. And then since then, just kind of been working with my brother doing a lot of back end stuff building. But I also have some other Etsy experience in my past. I have a vintage clothing business where we sell vintage clothes on Etsy. I do a lot of thrifting and estate sales while I travel around the country, and so find cool stuff and sell them online. So it was kind of a really natural progression when I was working with my brother to start selling ShineOn on Etsy because I kind of had that background. So yeah, I spent the last year really working a ton on my Etsy store. I had a really good run last year with ShineOn jewelry, learned a lot. I worked with Anna Beck. She's been a mentor for me, and um, yeah, I've just been crushing it. And now I'm on like super mission to bring everything I've learned and share it with the community because Etsy is there's so much opportunity on Etsy. I feel like such an Etsy nerd all the time because I'm always hyping it up, but it's very accessible. And that's what I love about it is that you don't have to have a lot of experience in e-com to understand it. There's so much we can do with the organic marketing side of selling ShineOn. And so, yeah, that's kind of, I guess, where I'm at, just like bringing that knowledge to the people.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, do you think you'd be able to travel like you do and kind of live out of your RV if you weren't doing this stuff on the side with Etsy
Oh,
and the digital marketing and stuff?
it would be a lot harder. I think that I know there's lots of other remote jobs out there, but I feel like I'm ruined for like real jobs now. I don't know how well I would do working in like a traditional work environment now because once you kind of like take I don't remember if it's the red or blue pill, but once you take the e-com
It's the red
pill,
pill.
it's like hard to come back from it. There's just like so much freedom in this life, and we get to prioritize like actually living. Like we get to do things that bring us joy and not just be completely ruled by work. And work is actually fun, and we only live once, and I'm just like not willing to not live the way I want to.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you're living the dream, right?
Yeah,
Many people tuned in listening to this right now probably envy that position and they want to know how to get there. So I'm glad you're here to help kind of show us the way. Quick question before we begin. Did
sure.
you make these slides? Because these are freaking beautiful.
Thank you. It's Canva. Like I live and die by Canva. Everything I do is in Canva.
This is all in Canva?
Yeah, so there's a whole presentation section of Canva. So you just kind of grab something that's pre-made and then pop your info in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day. This is awesome. You've got a great eye for design, which
Thank
probably helps
you.
you on Etsy too.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get into it. Optimizing your Etsy listings. Do you want to start here or you want me to jump into the next slide and we
Yeah, you
can
can go
intro
for
the.
it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about the topic. Like, why is this
Yeah,
important? That kind of thing.
absolutely. So this first slide kind of explains that. So what is so cool about Etsy is that there is search intent, right? So when we're looking at what we do like on Facebook or TikTok, what we're doing there is interruption marketing, right? Like people get onto their social media not preparing to buy something. So when we're doing that kind of marketing, our job is to like interrupt what someone's doing and convince them to buy our stuff. Whereas with Etsy, people are coming to that platform with search intent. So that's like an inherent benefit of selling on Etsy. So really what our job is on an organic platform is to just get our listings in front of the right people. So that's why optimizing your listings is so important because that's how we're going to get our stuff in front of the people who are ready to spend money.
Excellent. Okay. You just tell me when to change slides here.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, cool. So this slide, I kind of wanted to break down what you need to know about your listings as far as what information Etsy is going to be using to determine whether your product is a good fit for the person who's searching. So a couple places they're going to look for that. So categories is going to be the first one. This is something that you're setting up in the like foundation of your listing. So in our case, most of the time it's going to be like jewelry, necklaces, maybe pendant necklace, but that foundational information that's telling Etsy what you're selling. Attributes, I mentioned this and I kind of don't use this that much. I don't think that they're really a good use of your time for what we do. So a lot of times with the attributes, it's information like color or materials. And I've found that when someone goes onto Etsy looking for a really specific type of jewelry, they're usually shopping for themselves or for fine jewelry. Whereas we're trying to catch people who are going onto Etsy and typing in like gift for granddaughter, right? So this, I want to mention this because it's a really important concept to remember, is that what we're selling is the message, right? We're selling these emotional moments to bring into somebody else's life. And sometimes the jewelry is kind of secondary to that. So I'm all for like time management with Etsy. I feel like it's a really important strategic element. So if there are areas where I can be like, don't worry about it, not really worth your time, attributes is kind of falls under that category for me. Titles, super important. I've got some slides coming up. We're going to like really deep dive into like how to craft a really good Etsy title. Description. So relatively new Etsy update, they've released that they're crawling the first couple sentences, potentially like only the first 40 characters of your description for important keywords. Also, Google does
Interesting.
crawl your descriptions. So there's room in there to catch both Etsy and Google with your keyword information, which is cool because that's something I feel like we might forget about, is that Google actually puts our Etsy listings in the organic shopping results. So there's offsite ads, which is like another thing, but we still can rank on Google organically from our Etsy listings, which is pretty cool. And then tags. Yeah, so tags are super important too. So we'll jump into some more detailed info on that as well. So we can go to the next one.
Hang on, I just can't
Yeah.
get over how good your slides look.
Thank you.
Mario, if you're watching this, Gina just set the bar. Okay, I think you're gonna, before you come back and we put those big blocks of text and stuff, that chicken scratch on our screen to offend all of our eyeballs. We're gonna have to run some stuff through Gina here, because this is beautiful and it's super easy to look at. Anyway, I feel like it actually amplifies the content. I'm not meaning to be distracted by it, but this is
No,
really good.
that's
It's really easy to
awesome.
consume. So I didn't know. I actually didn't know. When did that update come out where Etsy is only looking at the first 40 characters of the description? And is
I
it
feel like it was
characters or words?
so it's words. I feel like it's was probably in the last 6 months, definitely within this last year. It used to be that Etsy told us that they didn't use our description at all. And Etsy, they're like a little cloak and dagger with how they work with their algorithm. But now, within the last like 6 months to a year, they're saying that like the first couple sentences, I've heard other like Etsy gurus say it's the first 40 characters of those sentences that they're crawling.
Interesting.
So yeah, we kind of do the best with what we're given, but I think it is wise, especially like if you have something that's starting to show signs of life, this can definitely go into like a second pass of optimizing a listing. I often recommend doing that where it's like you're working in bulk, you got a lot of stuff up. Maybe the stuff you're putting up in the first round is not super optimized, but if you're starting to get traffic, favorites, maybe a sale or two, that's a good sign to be like, hey, I should go and do another pass and kind of beef up this listing.
So
And that might under that.
when you beef up the listing, are you editing the existing listing or are you creating a new listing
Yes.
with the edits?
Yeah. So definitely editing the first one, as long as I'm not deleting anything that's working. Sometimes you need some time to determine what that is. So it might not be that like if I'm going in to beef up a new-ish listing, I might not be deleting anything out of the title or tags, but I might be like adding a video. I might be putting more detailed information in the description. Sometimes I'll add like branded images that talk about like highlight selling points, like kind of highlight the box choice, like really show like you get the choice of a standard one, or like, the luxury box lights up. Like I'll really point out, have images that kind of walk you through that. And some of that I won't do necessarily to all of my listings when I'm kind of in my like initial testing. But if it's,
Interesting.
starting to kind of work, then it's like, yeah, it's worth my time to go in and put some extra work into it.
Okay, I'm going to go to the next slide and let you continue. But if we don't touch on this topic later, I'm gonna revisit it because I have some questions
Sure.
around that in particular. Okay.
Absolutely. All right. So let's talk a little bit about crafting a good title on Etsy. So we get 140 characters. And what I often say about titles is that you want to balance writing for the computer with writing for a person. So we're still trying to be strategic with our keywords because we want to have success in the algorithm, but the title is something that your customer sees. And so we want to put thought into that. We want it to be easy to read. We want it to not look spammy or weird. And we want to kind of hold their hand through the shopping process, right? So the first thing I want to point out though, because this is so important, I really, really, really encourage you guys to spend some time on the Etsy app on your phone because that's how most of your customers are shopping. And that shopping experience is really different than on desktop. And as sellers, I feel like we spend so much time on desktop, but really our customers are on their phones, right? And it's just a different experience. So I got some screenshots here for us to check out. On mobile, your thumbnail image is itty bitty. It's maybe like an inch by an inch. And if you look at this, you'll see that on my listing, you only see the first 3 words of my title. So it is so crucial to put that really important information about your listing right up front. So anything that's like with this example, it says granddaughter gift because that is like to the point. This is exactly what I'm selling is a granddaughter gift, right? So I want to make sure that the most important information is right up front so that people can see it on mobile. I want to make sure that from a design perspective, that my like title where it says granddaughter is nice and big, legible. The colors aren't hard to read, things like that. Because I want to make sure that those customers on their phone are going to be able to, like I feel like when you are shopping, even if you're intending to shop for a gift for your granddaughter, there's this like subconscious thing that we do where we're going to scroll. Even if the first search result was a perfect match for what you were looking for, you're still going to scroll a little bit, right? So we want all of that really important, juicy information to come through, even if someone's like scrolling through the results. And then you'll see like on desktop, they're only getting another like 2 words out of that title. So again, super important to front load your titles with the most important information. I did give you like an example of what the full title looks like. So normally what I'm doing is putting that important meat up front and then putting some kind of barrier. I like the pipe, which is like the little up and down eye, or like a dash. And then after that, I'll kind of start adding in my keywords, like keyword, comma.
Interesting. Okay.
I just think it's a little bit easier to the eye too. And then I'll try to put my keywords into that title in a balance of not just like keyword, comma, but also with some conversational phrases, because I think that when someone's scanning it, it's just easier for your brain. It feels more natural. And sometimes when we put just like too many keywords back to back, it looks sketchy, and it gives like some distrust in the customer.
I love how deep you're going into like your user's experience. Like you're really getting in their shoes here, and you're thinking through like the way this looks, how it would feel, like the questions they might have, like if this would put them off or would draw them in further. And also just kind of back to your eye, you've got like a very you've got a very good sense of kind of like aesthetic sense here, not just in terms of design. Like you can even look in your thumbnails and I can see it looks like you've edited the background here, which we can maybe talk about.
Sure.
But also just like in the way the title looks, like forget the words. Like imagine you didn't even speak English and there's just letters up here, right? Still the way it looks, it kind of looks pleasing because you've got kind of, you like you said, you kind of front load the most important information at the front. Notice too, you're using case titling here. So like the all the important words, right? The nouns and such, they're all titled, but from is not. It's because it's case titling here. So you just you've really you really went about as far as you could go, I think, crawling into your customer's shoes and like trying to get in their minds and understanding what their experience is going to be, crawling through the search results.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the strengths I have from my background, from doing so much work with my brother on the like Shopify and Facebook sides of things. And I've watched for the last couple of years these like at scale, these like really intense split tests where Mario with his clients like will go over every little detail of the funnel. And I think that we can bring a lot of that experience to Etsy because we can't control, like, I can't write code to change what my listings look like on Etsy. But I can use what I know about that to optimize these parts of the listing that I do have control over to really, you know, shine up every part of that experience.
Yeah, it really makes a ton of sense. So, I do have a question. Like,
Sure.
I do see that you've edited kind of our stock renders. You added this background, and now I'm kind of going along for the ride here. I'm thinking, okay, how does this feel to the user? And you have to think everybody's using the same renders. So, if like on the screen they're looking at, I think Etsy is it's like rows of 4, if I remember right. So you've got like, if you're on desktop anyway, you've got all these jewelry items in rows of 4 going down the screen, and most of them are going to have white backgrounds, or I think the black background, or like one of the other mock-ups. But yours is going to be unique. Yours is probably going to be the only one with a customized background. I mean, what do you recommend this on every single item, or just for the ones that are scaling, or what do you say about that?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I'm glad you brought that up. So I do not recommend doing this for all of your listings. I think that's not a great use of your time. A lot of times, like with some of my clients, I'll talk about like momentum, and I feel like there's different stages of momentum that you'll experience in your Etsy store. If your Etsy store is super new, don't do this at all, because testing is the most important thing that you can do at that point. You need to test a lot, and you need to kind of see like what's working in your store. Once you have gained that momentum, like this granddaughter listing is one of my best sellers. So this has been through many layers of optimization. And part of that has been putting an extra branded touch. Sorry, my dog is like really wants to participate.
Okay.
She's okay.
We're pet friendly around here.
Yeah. This is Ramona. She's the mascot of the coaching program. Anyway, so this listing has been through many layers of optimization, and having this kind of like branded background is part of one of those like passes that I did to optimize it. But one of the reasons I did do it, to your point, is to provide something that looks a little bit different in the search results without being distracting. I think that's very important. A subtle difference that's adding to the listing visually, not taking away from it. And it's very on brand for my colors. So like if the other images that I mentioned where I highlight like your choice of 2 boxes, those will also have this same background. So as my store has gained momentum, now I can focus more on branding because I'm not kind of fighting as hard to get things to work. So I always kind of say like with Etsy, like sales beget sales. And once you are making consistent sales, it's not as hard to get new stuff to work, which gives you more time to do stuff like this branding.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Great work on this. It looks awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
So yeah, so tags. Outside of title, this is definitely the other most important part on your listing to optimize. So tags, this is going to be completely back end, right? So we get 13 of them. They're going to be 20 characters each. And with tags, we can completely write for the computer. The customers never see them. We can write complete nonsense and stuff them as much as we want, and that's completely okay. So the next slide kind of goes into some more specific details, but some basic like do's and don'ts. Definitely use all of them. It's important to use all 13. You do not have to repeat words. And this is something that, like, I'm going to give you conflicting information on, but technically, from an algorithm perspective with Etsy, you don't ever have to repeat a word. If I say granddaughter once, I do not technically have to say it again. Now, in the next slide, I'll show you why I might, but I do want to just like arm you guys with the most thorough knowledge possible. So that is from a technical algorithm point of view, you don't have to repeat the words.
So you're saying if you use it here in the title, you don't repeat it down here.
You don't have to.
You can, but you don't have
You
to.
can, but you do not have to.
But it
And
sounds like you're saying you don't really get a net benefit from repeating.
well, there is an element to Etsy that is a bit cumulative. So although I wouldn't repeat words that are filler words like gift, something like if my granddaughter listing, I'll probably repeat the word granddaughter a few times because that's the most important information that I'm going after. But I certainly don't have to do something like gift for mom, Mother's Day gift, mom gift, mama gift. You know, like I don't have to keep repeating the word, like the word gift or even the word mom. I might want to mix it up and have one tag that's like mom, mother, mama to cover all of them, instead of repeating the same configuration over and over again.
Interesting. So you ever just run out of words?
Yes, all the time. And one of my last slides in the presentation is a strategy that I have come up with to get around
Okay.
that called the big three.
Okay, I'm jumping ahead here.
That's
All right,
okay.
this
It's
is
good
great stuff.
questions.
So
So
here's what it looks like in the back end.
yes. So the top view is from Etsy. This is one of my really old listings where like I could have done better. The bottom view is actually a screenshot from a tool called Vela, which is a tool I love to optimize my listings in bulk. And I used that to type out a improved version of the top example. So to your question about repeating words, if you're looking at the bottom, you'll see like the first 6 tags repeat the word sister, but I have intentionally chosen to do this because each tag is a different phrase that is a like slam dunk match for this gift. So this is like a future sister-in-law example, probably something that is like specific to the wedding. So each of these phrases, sister-in-law gift, for my future sister, sister of the groom, sister-in-law to be, even though they're similar and I might technically not need to repeat that, those are so important to the audience I'm trying to attract. I'm going to choose to repeat those words.
Okay. I'm a little you're saying that the this here is a rewrite of this?
Yeah, so the top is like an older, like this is one of my first listings that I did, and the keywords could have been a lot better. So the bottom is like an example of how I might redo the tags from the top example.
Oh, I see. So it looks like the biggest change, at least to my untrained eye here, is in the top example, you have a lot of these like kind of standalone type words, and at the bottom you're using more phrases. I mean, I don't think there's
Yes.
anything down here. It's only 2 words. Maybe
Right.
birthday, Christmas, bridesmaid, proposal. The rest are all three words each.
Definitely. So I really want to take advantage of all 20 characters. And a really important thing to understand is that with tags, Etsy is going to like copy and paste words from your tags to match, like make a perfect match to the search term. So if we're looking at the bottom, if someone typed in maybe their search inquiry was future sister-in-law, thank you gift from the bride.
Okay.
Etsy will see that all of those words individually are in my tags and kind of match them into what's called a long tail keyword, which is what that search was. so that they understand that my listing is a good match for that search inquiry.
Interesting. Okay. And so you also said that you did this bottom ones from Vela, where you bulk edit your
Mhm.
listings. So do you add the same tags to like a bunch of listings?
I do. So that's one of my like most important strategies on Etsy is working in bulk. There is just a reality of Etsy is that a portion of your listings, even on a store with a lot of momentum who's getting regular sales, a portion of those listings I always say they're going to go into the Etsy abyss to die. And it's just true. Like, even if you put up a bunch of stuff at the same quality level, a certain amount of those are just not going to perform. So working in bulk helps account for that. You have a better chance of, having success on one listing, and you get to test more variables. So I might pop up anywhere from like 10, 15. When I first started my store, sometimes it was like 30, 40 listings all in the same niche. So maybe they had slightly different messages or design. Maybe some of them were love knot and some were interlocking hearts, but I would edit them all together so that since they were all sister-in-law gifts, I could give them similar titles and the same tags. And Vela lets me edit 40 listings all at one time and syncs to Etsy.
So doesn't that create a situation there where all your listings are like competing against each other?
I haven't had any issue with that. With Etsy, the search volume is so high, and Etsy is always going to offer different stuff to different people. So I have found, especially earlier on in my brand new store, I got to kind of skip the line and have things happen faster by casting a much wider net.
Interesting.
And now
Interesting.
a lot of those are like, I think there's like 1,600 listings in my expired folder. So a lot of them, the ones that don't work, that's fine. They can stay there forever. And then the ones that do work continue to renew on my store.
It's just fascinating. It feels counterintuitive to me. Like this is not how I would naturally approach it, and it makes me wonder if Etsy knows what the hell they're doing, personally.
Right.
But they got something working for them, so maybe I'm the odd one here.
So yeah, I think that with that too, one way I might be able to explain that a little bit better in comparing it to like Facebook. If you're thinking about Facebook and you've got something that's working and then you wanted to start testing variations, you would have like a really clear line to test different variables, right? Like maybe you tried different backgrounds, maybe you're trying a different title, maybe some of the text is bolded or highlighted in a contrasting color. Where with Facebook, you're getting that data in real time. In Etsy, sometimes it
Yeah.
takes like 30 days to have always like an incubation period for a listing. So if you start by doing variation testing and working in batches, what you'll see too is that certain elements will sort of lead as what's working and become bestsellers. So like that granddaughter listing that I showed you, that pink background, that was one of many different backgrounds that I tested very early on in my store. And then I noticed like almost all of my sales have this pink background in different niches. And so because I was testing lots of variations, I started to see across different niches data that I could actually use, that when I'm making new products, I have like more data behind what's actually working. So that's another benefit of sort of
Interesting.
working in bulk and testing a lot of things from the beginning.
Interesting. Okay, well, you learn something new every day. I just never would have. I never, in my right mind, if I were creating Etsy listings, I would never think to kind of load them with the same tags and stuff. So, very cool. I'm glad that that's why your training is important, because I would have been lost if I'd done this on my own.
Yeah. Okay, great. Cool. So this is what I mentioned earlier. This is my strategy for those moments where you just like, how am I going to come up with this many tags and keywords? Also, We do like I do a lot of keyword research. I like tools like eRank or Etsy Hunt, but coming back again to time management, it's not always realistic that every niche, every batch of listings that I'm working on, that I'm going to be able to pour like a ton of time into keyword research, is just not realistic. So I came up with this strategy as a way to kind of help without having to do a lot of keyword research, how to kind of come up with keywords. So it's called the big three. It's going to be everyone the gift is for, everyone the gift is from, and every reason someone would buy this gift.
Mm.
It's kind of like an easy way to remember, and it seems so simple, but like sometimes when you're really in it, you just don't think about stuff that might be super obvious. So I like having like something that helps me remember little prompts. So I gave an example of a type of product that you could apply this to. So if we're thinking about something, this is a super broad example. So like a new beginnings necklace. So this might be one like clean slate or like very general broad messaging that doesn't reference a person or an event. It's just like kind of like encouraging messaging about starting fresh in a new chapter in your life. So with this one, I'm going to start at number 3. Every reason someone might buy this. So a new beginnings gift could be for something like divorce, a breakup, moving, new job, a promotion, retirement, sobriety, survivor gifts, graduation. I mean, it could really cover so many different events in someone's life. And then once you are kind of thinking about that, then it might be a lot easier to identify the people who you would give it to or the people the gift would be from. So like friend, sister, coworker, parent, teacher. So this exercise would look a lot different depending on what niche you're in, obviously. So like if it was something like a soul sister gift, that might be for your actual sister. It might be for your best friend. It might be for your roommate. You might be giving them that for their birthday. Maybe they're moving. Maybe it's a long distance friendship, something like that. But once you kind of start looking into these 3 questions, it's a lot easier to come up with keywords on the fly. And the cool thing about products like this new beginnings necklace is that since there's such a huge amount of different reasons people might be buying this and different people they might be buying it for, there's another strategy that I like to do that I wanted to mention. If you go to the next slide.
Whoop.
So sometimes what I'll do is the same necklace, I'll create multiple listings, or maybe if I'm working in bulk and I've already got a batch of 15 of the same kind of niche, maybe I will take 5, 5, and 5 and have a different keyword strategy for those like group of 5. So like with the new beginning necklace, could have the exact same messaging, but in my title, I'm going to focus just on job related keywords. So like new job gift for her, congrats, promotion, moving for a new job, retirement. So like all of my title and tags are focusing on that like sub niche. Whereas same necklace, maybe another set of those, I'm focusing on divorce or breakup. So you can really use these keywords to kind of focus in on the audience that you want to bring to that listing.
So you're saying you'll take like one product. So you've got your necklace with your message card, right? You'll take that one, and then you'll make multiple listings for the one product, and you just use different kind of keyword variations on the listings. Now, I see the title variations are using the same tags.
So I would probably have different tags for each.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Because
title
they're
and
kind of in
tags.
different niches.
Yes.
Got it. But if you had, track with me, if you had
Sure.
2 products for the same niche, you may end up using the same tags for both products.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time. So if I'm working on a batch of, let's say it's something really specific, it's like a bridesmaid proposal. and I've got 10 different necklaces. They have like slight variations in backgrounds. Maybe the messaging is a little different. If I'm working on those all together in bulk, all 10 of those will likely get the same tags and almost the same title, probably.
Really?
Yep.
Almost the same title.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, okay, back to the example on the screen here. So now we're
Mhm.
talking, just to get everybody's mind back in frame here. We're talking about one product with two different title variations, because you're going after different niches, let's say.
Mhm.
How many, like in practice, like how many times do you duplicate the listing with different title variations? I mean, like, for example, what's the most you've had?
This example, new beginnings, would be probably one of the like niches that probably has the most opportunity for that, because there's just so many reasons you could use that really broad card over and over again. I think that probably not more than like a couple, like 4 or 5 different keyword
Okay.
strategies for
So we're
this.
not talking like 10. You're saying like kind of at
No.
most, you're like 4 or 5 on the upper limit, where you've got the
Yeah.
same product in 5 different listings with 5 different title variations, and
Yeah.
likely the same tags.
And sometimes this happens later on. So another good example of this would be like that granddaughter listing you saw. Let's say, that's one of my best sellers. Let's say I notice in my stats, in the data that Etsy is giving me, that a huge portion of people are ending up on my granddaughter listing for like 18th birthday gifts or 21st birthday gifts for their granddaughter. I might make a new listing with the same product and just focus my title and tags on teen milestone birthdays for granddaughter, because that's what Etsy is telling me is working. So I want to kind of build on that momentum so I can leave that original listing super broad. It covers birthdays, it covers graduation, Christmas, all kinds of stuff. But if Etsy's already telling me that, like, hey, there's a lot of traffic for these teen milestone birthday gifts for granddaughter, then that's a sign for me to let's, let's make another batch. Let's try out, maybe I want to try out some cards that actually reference those birthdays. Maybe I want to tweak the message a little bit to reference birthday more specifically. It gives me a chance to kind of do that like next round of testing now that I know that, that's the data I'm getting back from Etsy.
And will Etsy tell you like how people found your listing, like what keywords they used and things like that?
Yes, absolutely. So in your shop dashboard, there's a whole section called stats where you can really get into the back end of those listings. If your store is newer, there may not be that much data because you need the views to get that back. So when I first started this store, I probably didn't read my stats, but like once a month for like maybe the first 5 months of my store. First 5 months of my store, I was just like, tunnel vision listing. Like, I just had this attitude, like, I don't care if this works or not. I'm going to set myself a listing goal for every day and I'm just going to match it. Like, I'm going to meet that goal for the next 5 months and see what happens. Then once I started gaining momentum, I had all this data from Etsy and I could start really honing in on what's working and use that to inform what I'm doing instead of just kind of like throwing everything out to see what
So
sticks.
the process is kind of like, just tell me if I'm on the money here. You create your product kind of in ShineOn's catalog, right? So you've got like the necklace and the message card. Then you go to Etsy and you're trying to think of all the different niches like it could apply to, right? And then you're creating title and tag variations on those niches. So you may have the same product 3 or 4 different times in your store, right? Then
Mhm.
you kind of monitor it. And if you start getting sales on one of them, you go into Etsy, you look at the stats, you try to figure out why that particular item is selling. And hopefully you can see, like, hey, it looks like customers are coming into this product from this keyword, right?
Mhm.
And then here's the part where I need you to correct me. It sounds like you're saying then you'll go back and you'll basically create more listings, except centered around that new the keyword that the Etsy's telling you is hot. Is that roughly correct?
Yes. And then also, like, to add to that, if I see in my stats that there's a big interest in like confirmation gifts for granddaughter, and maybe I don't have any of that in my store, but I'm seeing that those search terms, people ended up on my granddaughter listing because they typed in confirmation gift
Oh,
for
I see.
granddaughter.
Okay.
And that also is a clue for me, like, oh, I need to make a batch of those. But you don't necessarily have to go in blind from the beginning, because you can use tools like eRank to do keyword research ahead of time to know what niches people are actually searching for on Etsy.
So the one place I'm still a little bit confused is, like, when do you, like, rather than duplicating the listing and doing the title and tag variations, when do you actually just go to the listing and edit the listing itself in an effort to optimize it and increase your conversions and such?
Yeah, so I don't go back, and I don't really spend much time editing stuff that's not performing. So if it's not
Right.
getting a ton of views, like, I won't give it any attention. I'll just either let it expire, or if I'm kinda sometimes I'll do, like, a clean out and go and deactivate some stuff if it's been, like, 3 months and I'm not getting any views at all, right? Now if something is showing signs of life and I've got a couple months worth of data, maybe I've made, like, 5, 10, 20 sales on it, and I've got good info in my stats, and let's say I notice that, like, in my title, I put, like, heartfelt gift for, and that's not really like a huge keyword. It was more just like filler so that it made a conversational phrase. But I noticed that in my stats, like that same example, that confirmation gift is something with a lot of search intent. Maybe I'll go back into that title and edit out stuff that's either just kind of filler and not getting used, or if I've put a keyword in there and like I can see in my stats that no one is coming to my listing from that, like, then maybe I'll get rid of that. But I tread lightly on editing titles and tags on stuff that's working, because you don't want to get rid of something that's
Yeah,
working.
you don't want to screw it up.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're saying that the primary lever you kind of pull to increase your sales is really around duplicating the listings and trying to get kind of dialed in with the title and the tags, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like using the data that I'm getting from Etsy to inform the work that I'm going to do on my newer listings.
Okay. And so how long, after you make a listing, like how long do you give it before you try to analyze whether or not it's working?
So on a newer store, in a time during the year that, basically outside of Christmas, on a newer store, I would give it at least a month or 2 before you start making any judgments. On a store that has some more momentum, I think you can probably cut that in half. So, like, right now in late February on my store, I would probably check on a listing after, like, 20 to 30 days. But if it was a brand new store in late February, I'd almost say just ignore it, and almost ignore it completely and just focus on creating new stuff. And testing and casting a wider net and finding areas in your store of opportunity to cover more ground. So, like, something that's definitely worth mentioning is like having a balance of really broad stuff and really niche down stuff. So it's a better use of your time on a newer store to not worry so much about the stats of stuff you have up, unless something takes off and you're getting consistent sales. It's a better use of your time to take a look at your store and be like, wow, I don't have a single wedding product up in my store. I need to do something about that. Or like, hey, all of my stuff is super niche down and there's not a whole lot of opportunity for me to hit a winner that's got real scaling potential. Maybe I need to list some broader stuff. Um, so having kind of a pulse on the variety of stuff offered and continuing to grow what you have in your store in the very early stages is more important.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So when you are doing your keyword research,
Mhm.
like, I assume you're not going for super competitive stuff. You're kind of looking for the opportunities. Uh,
Yeah.
and then like, how realistic is it that, like, how hard is it to rank? How hard is it to kind of fight your way to the top of the search results?
So that's why having that balance is so important. So on a brand new store, it's a lot easier to get traffic and your first sales on something that's super niche down. Like if you had a listing that's like to my second grader's trumpet teacher, there's probably not that many, like not that much competition. But the problem is if you only ever list stuff that's that niche down, it's very unlikely that you're going to make life-changing money on any one of those listings, right? So having a balance of both, using the super niche down stuff that might be easier to rank for in the beginning as sort of a stepping stone to get momentum on your store, while you are also listing nice broad stuff that has actual scaling potential, is a really healthy way to build your store. That granddaughter listing you saw is a really good example of this. So that's one of like a pretty early listing that I did on my store, and it got like hardly any traffic for the first like 3 months it was up. I was getting, at the time, most of my sales were coming from pretty niche down wedding products. But it just so happened that when I listed that granddaughter, I did a batch of granddaughter stuff just because I knew I needed to do X amount of broad stuff on my store to have a healthy store. And it just so happened that like right before that listing expired, we went into graduation season. And it took off in graduation. I did not design that to be a graduation gift. It was just a general broad granddaughter listing. And now it's one of my best like evergreen bestsellers because it's nice and broad and it hits lots of seasonal stuff. People buy it throughout the year. But I would have never had that chance to make it one of my bestsellers if I was just like laser focused on super niche down stuff that was working at the time.
Interesting. So how many listings did you say your store has?
So right now I've got like around 250 listings on my store.
That's
When
not
I
bad.
No, when I first started, I was like a listing maniac and I was doing like 40 listings a day. I think the most listings my store has ever had was like 1,200 at one time. Now, I don't think that I'm not advocating that everyone needs to list at that volume to be successful on Etsy. In fact, I know that's not the case. Um, you'll often hear people in the Etsy space talking about like your ratio of listings that are performing to the duds and how people get scared to list too much on their store. But your store will change naturally as you gain more momentum. And like I mentioned before, I don't have to work in these huge batches anymore because I have social proof on my store. Etsy knows that my store is a good place to buy family gifts. So they treat me better in the search results than they did a year ago. So I don't have to fight as hard. But I really believe that working in these big batches early on was a huge part of my success on Etsy because I covered way more ground in a shorter period of time.
This is awesome. These were incredible tips. I've dabbled with
Thanks.
Etsy kind of in the past. I'm more of a direct response type person myself. However, like this is a lot of what you shared today is kind of counterintuitive. It's not stuff I've really heard elsewhere. It kind of makes sense though. I'm like, I can see that there's magic in the sauce here a little bit. But I can also tell that just in this short conversation, we're barely getting to the tip of the iceberg here. It
Right.
really feels like we're just kind of skimming the surface on like
Right.
everything there is with Etsy. So tell us a little bit more about like the course that you have and kind
Yeah.
of what the topics are that you get into and how deep it goes.
Absolutely. So at the end of last month, I launched my first course. Yay. It's called Gina's Profit Academy. The idea behind this course was that I really wanted to provide a super affordable, very easy to understand way to make anywhere from like a couple hundred extra dollars a week to like six figures this year. So I lay out exactly what I did in my Etsy store with ShineOn. So my course has a really nice, very detailed, thorough section about selling ShineOn on Etsy specifically. It also covers other stuff. It talks about running digital download stores on Etsy, some other pod products like apparel. It talks about freelancing, ways to make extra money, like making short form content, working with AI. There will even be a module about thrifting and selling vintage and flipping secondhand stuff, which is another passion of mine. So it's really designed to have multiple additional income streams for people that if you want to just help pay your car payment, great. If you want to make a full-time life out of multiple hustles like this will also kind of lay that out for you. So it's a course. It also includes group coaching with me and a private Facebook group where I answer questions every day.
That's awesome. And how much is it?
So there's 2 ways you can join. There is a monthly membership, so you can do $47 a month, or you can get lifetime access to my course and all of those assets. Typically, the lifetime access is $297, but this weekend I'm running a sale for our ShineOn community for you guys, kind of as a celebration of my first coffee with Michael. So for this weekend, it's going to be $97 for lifetime access.
Wow, that's awesome. That's an incredible deal.
Yeah. So I wanted to give something really juicy for you guys because I'm always trying to spread love to the ShineOn community because that's like my absolute favorite.
$97 is an incredible deal for lifetime access to that. You're probably not charging enough.
Probably not, but I want to be super accessible. Like times are tough and not everyone has the money to invest in Facebook ads right now. And this is another way that you can make a living off of ShineOn without having to have that kind of money to put up front.
So they just go to Gina'sProfitAcademy.com. If they choose the lifetime version, is it automatically discounted?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. And you're saying it ends Sunday, what, at midnight?
Yeah, I'll probably change it back to normal price Monday morning.
Yeah, whenever you get up. I'm kind of the same way. I'm like, it ends at midnight, and 9 p.m. the day before rolls around. I'm like, I'm going to bed.
Right. Yes, me too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on. This was fantastic. Hey,
yeah,
folks in the chat here, give it up for Gina. Really appreciate your time, the expertise. I learned a lot actually about optimizing Etsy listings here. A lot of stuff I just would not have anticipated. So it was really cool. And your slides were freaking beautiful. You probably, if there was an award, if we had like Dundee Awards here for most beautiful slides, you would definitely get it. You would definitely get it. And Mario, I'm not even letting you in the building next time until Gina has a look at your slides because these are amazing. All right. Thank you so much for coming on. Seriously.
My pleasure.
You're getting a lot of praise here. We love you, Gina.
Oh, thank you guys. I love you guys too.
Yeah, phenomenal. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you're getting a lot of love here. So many notes. Awesome. Awesome. That was great. Thanks for coming on. All right, everybody. If you like what we bring you every week, please tell your friends about us. If you've had 100 sales on your store, you can go into analytics in the dashboard. You can click referrals. You'll have a magic affiliate link up in the top right. If you share that with your friends, your family, put it on forums, Facebook groups, wherever you like to tell people about ShineOn. If they sign up through the link, you'll get 75 cents every time they make a sale. We have some affiliates that have made a ton of freaking money on this, like high 5-figure affiliates here. So go check that out. Until next time, if you're just watching this and you haven't signed up with ShineOn yet, go to ShineOn.com. It takes like 60 seconds to sign up. You can also find us in the App Store and just download the app, which is pretty cool. If you're on YouTube and you're not in the Facebook group, there's something wrong with you. You need to go join the Facebook group because the community there is amazing. It's super engaged. It's one of the most engaged e-com groups in the world. We've actually run the stats on that, and it's true. If you're watching on Facebook and you're not on YouTube, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're working hard to bring you fresh content there that you'll only be able to find on YouTube, so go check that out. And then here's where you can find us in all the other social media fun places around the world. And we have an entire team that's just kind of dedicated to putting out fresh, entertaining, fun content here. So go check it out. Everybody, thank you so much for joining. Thanks for partaking in the toast and bringing sanity back into the world. Until next time, happy selling. Thanks, Gina, for coming on. We'll catch you guys later. Take care.